Alright guys, so as I was getting ready to start to drain the system to put in my coolant, I thought about, instead of fumbling like I always do and how I did earlier when I was leak testing this and making spillage, even if I use the turkey baster, I'm going to decide this right here goes into one reservoir. This is going into the reservoir from the GPU loop, and this is going to the CPU loop. So I was like, why don't I take that opportunity and, using hopefully some of the right parts here, actually put fill ports in. So my thought is, instead I have here these Q blocks, one open at the top and on the side. I have a couple other different ones, but I happen to have two of these. So my thought is to put one of these guys here, and instead of the right angle, and then I can just use the top to fill. So I'm like, a little brain fart cleared, and same thing here. I can put this guy up at the top. Now, these guys are not rotaries down here, so what I may have to do is use the rotaries. I have this fitting. This is a Barrow dual rotary fitting right here. But I have a male to male, so I also have from Barrow, let's see here, and honestly I don't know, I assume, I mean, Bitch Power makes all of these, but the Barrow prices are awesome, and so far all the costs were good. So here is a female to female fitting. So my thought is I'm going to put, you know, one of these on here. It's a rotary. So I've got that going for me, and then to screw it into the bottom, I have you know, a double male here. So that gives me, you know, the ability to turn it around and secure it. Now, of course, if I put that in here, I'm going to have to make this a little bit taller, but that's not a problem. And then up here, I could probably, there's so many extra fittings here, I'm sure I can get it connected in there without any problem. So hopefully I have enough. I believe I have enough fittings. So that's the idea. My fill port will be here, and I won't hopefully have spillage like I usually do. All right, so that's the plan. Let me take these apart and get them adjusted up correctly and get the fittings in, give it a leak check, and then I'll do the filling. All right, guys, so God was smiling on me. I was able to get this one in without having to bring both of them up. And the other thing that helped was this fill port that I use for the pass-through. I was able to do a little adjusting, so I really didn't need much, but got it in there. And so I even have my super duper, you can't see the top of the funnel because it's not in frame right now. And then this other one was straightforward, just like I showed you. I used the, I had to change this extension out, and then I had the dual rotary with the coupling and this piece, and I've got my extensions. Now I'm going to take these guys out and then leak check this. And before I forget, because I would probably forget this, I have two of them I put in here right now. So very cool. That waiting, I guess, for that cables not to come in, and then finally getting fed up and deciding to do my coolant now helped, because I don't know that I would have came up with that later on. Anyway, so we got it. So let me turn it on, check it out for leaks, and then drain it and put the fill in. Yeah, let's do that, and make sure that I didn't loosen up any of the fittings on the other side of the reservoir. So let me check that out real quick, and we'll be right back. All right, so I did the leak check, and everything came out good, no leaks. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and drain this puppy. And this is all pretty much fresh you know, distilled water, but I'm still going to go ahead and just drain it out, and I'll use some fresh stuff. So I have for the GPU loop, this is the lowest point in the loop because its radiator is up top, so I'm going to go ahead and drain him first. And then I can drain the CPU loop here, and then I have another drain port down here to get, you know, everything down below. So let me go ahead and get this connected on here. And the beauty of this is, I can just take off the cap up top too, and that's going to help both, you know, draining and filling. Well, no, filling, right? I'll have to pull off one of these ports here. All right, so let's get this going. And actually, I'll just undo this one here. Alright, that's what's in the res, and in the GPU blocks. You know what, I'm gonna get a thing. I'm going to get something up top to blow some air in there. And since I'll put coolant in a little bit less, it's going to get mixed up anyway. Alright, so now let's get over to, let's hook you up. You know what? I think I'm just going to go right down to the bottom here. So let's see. I'll readjust the camera so you can see what I'm going to do. Drain. And let's lock this up. There we go. Now this one, all right, this one keeps on giving. All right, so much for drainage. Now let's get on with some filling. So I have here, or I had, here we go, some Mayhem's Pastel White. So that's what's going in here. First, you cannot see it, but I have my trusty red funnel up at the top here, up the back. So I'm going to shake this up. I have the top off of this side here of the reservoir to get some air in there. We already know that this loop doesn't leak. Checked it and I've had it running for at least a week now with just regular distilled water. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this guy up. Alright, now I hope I still don't make a mess. So here we go. Some carefully poured. Let me shake it up a little bit more. I don't know if any of you guys play fantasy football, but I'm winning. I'm in 3 leagues, and I'm winning in all of them right now. It's Sunday, the 14th of October, and that's good news for me. Only one of them, actually 2 of them are money leagues, but I like them all. Okay, here we go. Just so you guys know, I did turn off the valve and put the cap on the drain port at the bottom, because that would suck. So that guy's definitely filling up the radiator, I guess, down there. Still got quite a bit to go. No leaks. No, nothing happening right now. It's all goodness. Okay. We'll stop right there right now for this guy. Okay, next up is the other reservoir, and that is going to require some mixing. So let me mix up some stuff. Let me get it mixed up, and then I'll be right back. Alright, now I know many of you who follow me already know how to, if you've built a loop before, you may have used Mayhem's products. So they're good. That's what I use in most of my builds, pretty much. Besides, obviously just some clear, just for testing and stuff. I don't have colored fluid in all of my builds, but most of them I do, especially my client builds I do at their request. And in order to mix it, here's a concentrate. You can buy it pre-mixed like I did here. So you get everything you need in this. You just pour it in and you're good to go. If you buy it concentrate, obviously you have to mix it. You mix it with distilled water. That's what I have here. And the way these concentrates work, you pour one of these full bottles into 750 milliliters of distilled water. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. For anybody that's new, if you haven't seen this before and you want to learn more about water cooling or just check out some cool builds, please subscribe to my channel. And you can go back and take a look at many of the different builds that I've done over the past few years, as well as reviews and stuff. But so I've got it in here. I've got a little bottle. It's a little shy of a liter, but there's more coolant, obviously, in the radiator on the CPU block. So there we go. Come on, baby. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this inside of here. Yeah. Perfecto. That's a pretty nice blue, huh? It's going to match nicely with whatever blue I pick from all those RGB colors. All right, so you get it in there, and you got to shake it, shake it, shake it, sugarine. And then you got to be careful you don't drip like I just did. I don't know where it's coming out of, the cap somewhere. All right, so let's go ahead and get the camera rejigged, and then we're going to pour it into that. I may need to revert to using a syringe. All right, let's see here. Let's get some flow going and see how well she does. All right, ready, Freddy? That's the, because I had the power out of it. Okay, I need to get some more of both in there. Let's get the pastel in. Use just about all of it. Wow. All right, now the blue is going to be a little bit more fun because I really don't want to take off where it's coming out of the reservoir and then back down right into here. So that's a little too much, so I'm going to arrange to get the funnel right in here. All right, got it rinsed out. Actually, that white is really nice. There's hardly any white left in this here. So now I'm going to screw this on to this little extension. I have a little bit of flexible piece here, so, and it's on a rotary too, so that way I can get it just right and have the nice protective piece there. I mean, I'll probably drip, so that will go down here. Catch my drippage. All right, let's see, cap on, the white's all sealed up and the blue is going to get some, and I have this cap above here loose so I can boy, it's a lot quieter without well, I guess also I didn't have the distilled water all the way up underneath the tube, so, but it's definitely quieter with pastel in it. I guess it's a little bit thicker. Maybe it doesn't bubble up so much. Okay, those guys about the same height there. A little bit extra here. All right. I don't know, that's a little foamy because of the, it's got to settle down. That's not so bad. I think I got to go up maybe just a little bit more. Okay. All right, we're going to go with that for right now. Let me undo this. All right. All right, let's take off these caps, make them loose here. Make sure we get some air. Let some air work its way out of here. I don't want to shut it down for fear it's going to overflow. So I'll put these right here where I can see them for now. All right, I'm going to let it run. And that's pretty quiet. I don't hear. I'm going to be quiet here and put the microphone up. I don't know if you can hear it. If you hear any water running, that's over to the right. I have a test bed. But this is completely quieter than it was before with the distilled water only and not covering the return tubes. So, all right, we're looking good. No leaks. All right, we're gonna let it run, and that's it for filling right now, guys. So what do you think? Got some colors going there, huh? I gotta fix the RGB RAM, make that a different color from the rest, but I'll be doing a nice show and tell when it gets dark. And there we have it. The color coordinated cables. So the blue coolant is going to be something that I can switch on and off over time. But I like the white, think it looks good. So, and then with the RGB lighting, of course, that's where the rest of the blue will come in. So here's what it looks like with all the cables in and dressed. I might only be making one final change before this guy is completely done. But at least the cables are in there now. I won't have to mess with any of those. So what do you think? I'll back it up a little bit here. That's in daytime. Okay, that's with just a few lights on. And let's see. And that is before the software, AORUS software, kicks in to adjust all the lighting, although it's close to the way I've had it so far. And then soon you should see it change to what it looks like. It'll flash off as the software gets kicked in. There you go. And now it'll come on. Yep. Let me go turn off the overhead light. All right. There we go, guys. That's currently, it's got a red and blue theme going on there with the white. The white might look a little pink or purple because of the red light reflecting on it, but that's it right now. That's without the case glass on. Like I said, I have one more change to make to this system. I'm not happy with the graphics cards, the lighting, the RGB lighting. I don't want to settle for the bits power, archaic, plug your little 4-button controller in and hope for the best lighting. So I think I'm going to change that out. Alright, so I mentioned that I was unhappy with my bits power blocks, especially the RGB controller on them sucking so badly. But I had a configuration that I was going to live with, but I did a little research, which I probably should have done, of course, before I bought the bits power blocks, but I thought they were the only thing on the market until I came across these Fantex Glacier series. They have the 1080 Ti for a Founders Edition, which are true RGB. They actually have, they can be controlled by the Aura controller on the motherboard that I have. So it's an option. We're going to take a look at them and see if they'll do the job. They look pretty good online. The one thing, of course, I have to contend with is if the where the block lines up, and if I have to move any fittings or recut tubing. I'm not sure. but we'll find out. So here's the first time that I've seen them up close and personal. Wow. Wow, look at that. This is the chrome version. There's also one that has black on this on either of these sections, and that's that. That is really that's really pretty. That is really nice. And looks like I guess just humidity. You can see these will need to be polished a little bit here. Wow. So they give you their Fantex paste. Some really nice Fantex plugs. They have their block. I did look up reviews, and their flow is supposed to be better than Bits Power, and therefore a little cooler. It's a solid block. Wow, that is really pretty. I like that. And then underneath here, there should be. Now let's see here. I'm hoping there's more. Aha. Hidden underneath all that, we have, of course, thermal pads to put on the GPU, and we do have cables and connections to allow it to connect to RGB setups. And the question's going to be, as long as I can adapt this, one of these cables somewhere to be used with the Aura sync connection. So aha, here we go. Beautiful. This is the key one I was looking for right here. Your standard 4-pin RGB connection, which they have on the Aura board. So very nice. Okay. All right. So I think that's the first thing. So we get the right pieces in the box that we need, right? And I also bought, just in preparation in case it was going to work, some more RGB extensions. So that's what I used in the case for the other stuff. These are 4-pin RGB light strip extensions with the solderless plug. Those are the little things. Then I also needed, since I've already maxed out I just bought the exact type of splitters that I needed for my other splits. I have splitters here that I can use for these blocks. So I've got 2 of them. So I can tap into a main source, provide an extension to that, and then connect up these 2 blocks. So I'll probably have an extra one, but these are inexpensive. They really are, these splitters, and they work just perfectly. They work well. So now, again, another cable to put in the case, but luckily the STH10 has plenty of space in the case, and I've been able to manage that pretty well so far. Alright, so the next thing to look at is where these blocks line up compared to where these fitting ports are on the Bits Power. So hopefully, with a little bit of luck, they line up exactly over the ones I have, and I won't have to do any tubing or fitting changes. But if they don't, then that's something I've got to figure out. So let me put it up inside the case, see if I can get a good feel for that. And this is really nice. And then here on the black, there's 3. There's 1 RGB strip there, and 2 more. There's 3 of them. And here's the connections for them right down here. There's 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and the cables will connect to it. So really pretty blocks. I wish I would have researched this before and not just assumed Bits Power RGB was the only game in town. I don't know when these came out, so I think they were probably announced earlier this year, but anyway, I just found them, and Newegg actually carries them. So, all right, so I'm gonna go check it out in the case and see how they look, and see. I'm just gonna get a rough idea if they line up where the bits power ports do. Now, because the block is so big, I couldn't just lay it right over the other block in the case. But what I did is I took a measurement from the edge of the bottom of the block to the center of this port, and it's 4.5 inches, and it's the same on the bits power. So that's one thing that's very promising. And then this side right here, you can't really go by, right? This is different design, but this is the clear edge of the board, and it lines up right at the end of the PCB from the pictures, and I measured that, and from this edge to the center of this block is 5.5 inches, and that also is the same on the bits power as it is here. So hopefully it's looking very promising that I may not have to make any changes to the ports. I mean, to the tubing to use these. So next, what I want to do is see if I can test the lights, but I think I'm going to have to connect it up to the motherboard to do that, but I don't know that I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to go for it. Take the other blocks out, redo the graphics cards, and then go with it. So in for a bit of work here. All right. Now, although I am in a hurry, well, not in a hurry, I just would like to have this system built so I can play and use it, but I wasn't going to video putting the Fantex block on it, but it's the first time that I'm doing it, and maybe you guys have not seen one before, so I thought for you I'll go ahead and do it. Just cleaning off the residual thermal paste off of this block. I took one apart so far. So anyway, so I've got one of the 1080 Ti's. This happens to be the Gigabyte one, the Founders Edition one. And alright, and we have that really pretty Fantex block. And I need the instructions, which are down in the basement here. Let's just get all this stuff out. All right. I wonder if it's the same thickness thermal pads that this power has. Okay, here's my cables, which I don't need right now. And here are screws. Just to keep things organized. Alright, so first time I'm doing this, I am going to RTFM. Take a look here. So guys, I'm overdubbing this portion here because there really wasn't anything special. The 1080 Ti's, I guess the one thing to note is they give you a tool. You see me waving it around there. It's just a socket head tool, because on 1080 Ti's, when you remove the backplate screws, they actually go into, they're screws with a socket head that the screws go into. So you need a nut driver to remove it instead of just a Phillips or an Allen head key. So other than that, it's your standard, cut and peel back your thermal pads and apply them to the memory chips, to your VRM, some chokes. So really nothing fancy here. Nice kit, nice presentation. They give you everything you need. I even give you a little extra thermal pads, I guess, in case you make a mistake. And the only other thing to note is underneath where the power connectors are, there are 2 or 3 standoffs that you need to mount. So when you secure your back plate, that has something to screw into. It doesn't, so just to be aware of that, because I had to put a couple of nylon washers in there to make sure it was flat and even. So that's it. Other than that, back to the video. All right, we have the pads on. All of the blue stuff. I need to get some of my Arctic Silver is what I'm going to use on this. Put thermal paste on. I'm going to put it on in a star pattern, and actually that is the way that Fantex recommends it as well. I'm going to go ahead and put the plate on here and then also secure, let's see here, yeah, and also secure it So again, use, and the nice thing about the Fantex, you can use the original. Actually, they don't provide a back plate, so that's something to consider. I have a reverse layout case, so you don't see my back plate at all. So that's just fine by me. And as you saw, I did not plan to use the the Bits Power back plate because it had that giant green logo on it, and I didn't really want to use that. So. So that's fine. So this is something to be aware of, though. There's no custom back plate right now. They designed it to work with the factory back plates, at least for this 1080 Ti. Alright, so there we have the Fantex. Needs to be polished up a little bit. And it does have protective plastic. So there it is. It's a very pretty block. Nice design. One thing to note though is Fantex has it designed so this is the inlet and that's the outlet. So I do note to get best performance to run it that way. So I'm gonna just have to put an extender on one of the pieces so that we can do that, and we'll be good to go. And let's see, and now what I need to do is connect up this cable here, and this has the connections for each of the RGB points right here on the card. So I'm going to do that and then dress the cable so that I can connect to it and you know, get it configured properly in the system. So this is what we're going to do. Good. So longest run is here. Let's see, they're keyed. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the system here and bottom slot and see how it looks. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other block, and then I'll show you both of them back in the system. So Phanteks Glacier Glacier G1080 Ti Founders Edition block, and this is the Chrome Edition. I think that I mean, it's different. This, you know, the Bits Power one is a clear acrylic top. This is a clear acrylic top, but this on either side here really is a nice design. I mean, take a look at the two. Which would you have? What do you have in your system? So the dimension from the bottom of this block to the center of this is the same on the Phanteks Glacier block, and then the measurement from this edge right here of where this block edge ends right on the board, also down to here, is 5.5 inches. So they look like they may fit just well. So what I got to do now is drain the blocks, remove the power blocks for the EVGA, the cable, so it's easy. Disconnect the current lighting that I have for these guys here and remove that cabling, and then replace the blocks. So oh, and I also have to remove the Intel drive because that's in the way, and also the gigabit controller over there. So I got a little bit of work to do. The system was just about done, but not quite. We're gonna do it again. And actually what I'll do now is let me turn the system on and get a shot of the lighting with the Bits Power, and then come back after the Glacier is installed so you can actually see the difference. On the blocks, that the strip ends right there, so there's no lighting. There's lighting coming up from above on this side of the Bits Power block, but there's no lighting over there. It ends. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 LEDs on both blocks, and I have them right now arranged in blue because of the controller on that only allows you to do certain colors, and they're not mixed in with the rest of the Aura configuration. So again, short-sighted on my part. I thought that was my only option for an RGB block, but it's not. So so here's a shot of what it looks like right now, and you saw a shot far away. And now let me take the system down and drain it and pray that this stuff lines up well, and we have better lighting configuration over there. So that's it for now. Be back. It'll be a moment for you, but a long time for me. Yeah, those look pretty incredible.